Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Business Today. My name is Jerome Paul Sonko, and this is Smart 24 TV. And I'm with Winnie Buyinza Nakauchi on sign language. But first, a look at our top stories.
UCC partners with URSB and URA on stopping illegitimate mobile phones in the country. URC to construct a concrete railway line for Kampala-Mukono by end of 2022. The government lays plans for disasters affecting the eastern part of the country.
All right, now we started off with the government and railway transport, as the government of Uganda has advised Ugandans to resort to railway transportation to ease transportation costs. This follows the president's speech about investing in the railway transport system to manage the high fuel prices. Principal Public Relations Officer, Uganda Railway Corporation, Linon Sengendo, while interacting with Smart 24 TV, revealed the strategic plan for construction of the Kampala-Mukono concrete railway line, as Simon Kirimunda reports.
Construction of a concrete railway line from Kampala to Mukono will commence by the end of this year. The reading of the national budget for the financial year 2022-2023 says that the processing of crude oil in Uganda will not only favor most Ugandans, but rather invest in railway transport to reduce high fuel prices. The Ministry of Transport and Works was given 4.3 trillion shillings in this financial year 2022-2023 to construct railways and roads, among others. While speaking, Linon Sengendo reveals that they are expecting some funding from the Spanish government and the African Development Bank for the commencement of the Kampala-Mukono concrete line and a transport cost of 1,000 and 2,000 shillings respectively.
We have 5 coaches. Each coach takes 100 people. But those 100 people, you can have others standing to wherever they are going. So that is 100 people times the 5 coaches. So that is currently the capacity, but of course we have the plans of increasing on the number of coaches and also having better passenger transport systems.
He further says that railway transport only lowers the costs of fuel, but also reduces car accidents.
Probably if we go into Mukono, you'll need 1,000 or 2,000 shillings, but that will be using rail. The time traveled will reduce significantly, so you spend less time traveling than on the roads. So it is affordable, yeah. On the accidents, we haven't gotten any accidents involving the train with our passengers. It hasn't happened. That's how cautious we are when we are moving our passengers to their respective areas. So it is safe. It is very safe as a means of transport. It's faster. You spend less time on the roads, and it's also affordable for the population.
Sendagaya also highlighted some of the planned projects, including the construction of the Kampala-Mukono concrete line in January 2023.
Projects that will be by the ADB if it comes in, the African Development Bank, but they are looking at improving the line. They are looking at passenger transport, DMUs. They are looking at wagon ferries on the waters. So they are looking at a number of things. Yeah, there is that project, but then we also have a project here with the Spaniards. The Spaniards, they do capacity building, but then they are also going to work on the section of the Kampala-Mukono. This section they'll commence January, but it will be concrete. It won't be metal sleepers. It will be concrete.
Our reporter interacted with a section of people on the introduction of railway transport. Abanacho Jacqueline shares her experience.
Train has less risks. For example, the accidents, we rarely hear accidents of the train. So that is an advantage. And since we'll be coming out from work, we need to get back home early and have a little bit of rest so that we start our new day with fresh energy and with enough rest. So it really saves us a lot from all that. And the other advantage about the train, it is cheap. And you know that economy, everything is so high, and it has really boosted our see-through in the economy of Uganda because it favors our income, because it is cheaper than the other sources of transport, other means of transport, sorry about that. So I would encourage people to also use the train because it is a good experience. It saves a lot and it is very, very fast.
Samuel Chirimunda, Margaret Nachiganda, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
All right, now on the move to disconnect fake phones, the Uganda Communications Commission has joined the rest of the world in fighting against illegitimate communications devices. Under Section 5K of the UCC Act of 2013, UCC's mandate is to promote and safeguard the interests of consumers and operators regarding the quality of communication services and equipment. Monica Nabionga reports.
Have all the devices, whether legitimate or legitimate, still accessing the network in this phase, which could be 6 months or so. This phase of empowerment, this phase of awareness, we plan to have it for about 6 months. We believe that this period, if well appreciated, we can then transit to the next phase. Of course, the next phase will be the one of denial of access to a network if your device belongs to that category of illegitimate. Before you are also denied access, we will have what they call below-the-line communication. You'll be getting direct messages to your phone that this device is illegitimate. You have this number of days to dispose of it, or else it shall not access the network.
Section 5, subsection 1 of the Act also tasks UCC to set national standards and ensure compliance with national and international standards and obligations laid down by the international communications agreements and treaties to which it is a party. 2,
going forward, to know what you're purchasing if you're yet to buy a phone or a device. 3, know where you are purchasing that item from, because you would need to know the address, the location, so that if there is any point of redress, you are able to sort yourself in a manner that is seamless and smooth. And above all, I want to say that when you purchase these items, it's good to obtain a receipt.
It is estimated that of the phones sold globally every year, over 180 million are counterfeit mobile phones. This represents a potential loss of $45 billion to legitimate device manufacturers and governments. About 6 million fake phones are believed to be in circulation in Uganda alone. If UCC goes ahead to implement this policy, then there is an expected impact on the traders and consumers as well.
There shall be some negative impact because some traders will be denied revenue, businesses will momentarily hit that shock wave, but we believe that is just a transitional phase. They will pick up again. So,
however, in the case of making this campaign a success, other entities are also on board.
The fight or the action against illegitimate devices or elimination of illegitimate devices is a multi-sectoral engagement. What do I mean? It involves other partners, other stakeholders, whether government institutions, non-government institutions, or individuals. It calls for collective action. As far as URA is concerned, yes, they are a very critical partner because they deal with the issues of our borders, our imports, and so forth. And we have engaged with them. We know exactly what should be done and how it should be done. So going forward, they will be playing their role as much as other agencies will also be playing their role as also traders and individuals. So in summary, they're on board. So they will be acting as they'll be acting in their capacity in terms of controlling what should be imported and what shouldn't be imported.
All right, now we focus on the disaster in the eastern part of Uganda. As now the government has laid long, mid and short-term plans for disasters that have affected the eastern part of the country, with the relocation of the settlers to safer geographical landscapes being the long-term solution. The eastern region has been experiencing heavy rainfall since Saturday, triggering landslides and causing rivers to overflow. More of this report.
At least 3,745 households have been affected in the district of Mbale, Kapchora, Sironko, Bulambuli, and Bukedia, with over 24 deaths recorded. Joint rapid assessments with government authorities and partners on the ground are ongoing. The government has, however, outlined different strategies and plans to manage the disasters, inclusive compensation.
Short term is just giving them relief, some blankets and so on. We are coordinating with the Red Cross, and today we've had meetings with donors to get as much relief as possible. Food plus protection, like blankets, and because now those homes wash, you saw them in the pictures. They've lost everything. At least you need a blanket to cover a child. You need some clothes to change. These are short term. You need some food to make them sleep well. And we are trying to get tents to make sure that those who are exposed, so that at least the rain which is continuing there does not rain on them, to get them tents where they can. So these are the short-term measures now. Our people are busy on the ground. As I told you, the two teams I have, we are busy with the Red Cross trying to mitigate those kind of situations. That is short-term. But what would be the medium-term? To restore the services, we have to make sure the services to these people who are affected are restored. What are the services? Because with that flooding, they've lost all their shelters. The infrastructure, schools and so on are lost. Some places, health centers are washed down. And all those have to be restored. That's the medium term. But then, for me, I'm thinking of long term. We have in our plan, disaster risk management plan, which is approved by cabinet. The long term is really we have to restructure the settlements of our people in a manner that they don't stay along the harm way. Means shifting some population, shifting them away from the harm's way. Replanting trees on those hills which are bare. To make sure that all the trees are replanted. And there we need to work together with the Ministry of Environment, Ministry of Water and Environment, who are responsible, the forestry department, responsible for planting forests. They know which trees have got deeper roots, which can go and anchor the soil, so the soil doesn't get landslide. So that's a longer term, and for that long term, our plan is to start. We have, subject to the budget, we are to start this year, not even next year.
The environmental degradation factor has been the main attribute causing the disasters, as cited by the government officials.
This disaster is due to environmental degradation. As government, we shall also look for a permanent solution. Inside my heart, as I was moving, I saw we need to raise that place and maybe create bigger caravans, like these box caravans under UNRWA. I also see that if we can also maybe make a flyover.
The government has done much in compensating the affected settlers in the previous disasters, like the Bududa incident in 2010. Desire Nambiru, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
Sad it is for the people in there, and we do hope that the Almighty God may definitely answer the prayers to those who are still nursing wounds and those who have lost their loved ones. All right, now, moving on, we head to increasing liquefied petroleum gas consumption in Uganda. Natural gas has become an increasingly important energy source across the globe. The World Bank projections expect gas to become the second most used energy source by 2025 after electricity. To achieve this, the government of Uganda has ongoing partnership with fuel companies to make gas consumption reach even the lower middle income class Ugandans.
Uganda's transition to the middle-class status would mean embracing modernity even in energy consumption.
Consumption in Uganda is picking up. It's picking up since we got into the market. We put some more energy into it, and so it's picking up. Before that, it was dull.
Despite large deposits of liquefied petroleum gas in Uganda, consumption has been low. Uganda has an estimated 500 billion feet of natural gas stored underground, which the government intends to use to reduce the usage of fossil fuels to curb the ever-worsening climatic conditions.
The use of charcoal is a direct war on the climate. It's a direct war. There's no shortcut there. So the more meals we cook with the charcoal and firewood, that is how fast we're destroying our own climate. You can see what's happening in Europe. You know, the road is melting. That's the amount of heat that they're experiencing there. It's now at 40 degrees, very high. It has never reached here, even 30. It has never reached. But if we continue degrading our vegetation and our trees, we shall surely get there. So we need to step up, make sure that we fight this bad practice by embracing the use of gas. And gas is very cheap. Gas is very cheap compared to charcoal. Very clean, very safe, and very healthy for human consumption.
The government has also made it easy for these fuel companies to exist in the market with affordable rates.
Come into play through reduction of the taxes on the importation of LPG, strapping of the VAT. Although we still have a small challenge on the hardware, those are the cylinders, the taxes are still on them, the grills and the burners. But on the VAT part, on the LPG, it's good. So the consumption is picking up.
Some urban dwellers attest to using natural gas in their homes and highlight the safety precautions of handling gas at home.
I use gas. I usually use robust gas. When using gas, you have to be very careful. After lighting the fire and cooking your food, you must lock it up very well.
Ugandans are to participate in this government program through the following procedure.
Ones are given forms, okay? They go around the village, mobilizing and sensitizing the community to abandon the use of firewood or charcoal and start using gas. So they identify the willing people, the willing homes. So after that, those homes have to pay for the gas. The cylinder is free, so they have to pay for the gas, 100,000. Our refilling price is 100,000. So the LC1 will gather about 50, minimum of 50 people. Once they are ready, they then call us, and then we come and deliver the cylinders and train the people. Train them to make sure that they know the procedure of using the gas. Then from there, they are free to go and use it at home.
Mary Great Nachiganda, Business Today, Smart 24 TV, driving.
All right, now away from that, we talk promoting national parks in Uganda. The government of Uganda, through the Uganda Wildlife Authority, has urged local leaders to embrace government programs by promoting tourist attractions across the country to increase the benefits of revenue sharing.
In the financial year of 2018-2019, tourism budget was raised from the current 16.4 billion to 29.5 billion, an increase of about 80%. However, local leaders did not return the money from the different national parks. Officials from the Uganda Wildlife Authority revealed that the local people were about to receive an interest of 20% from revenue sharing. Chibale Conservation Area has 4 national parks: Chibale National Park, the Same Rich World Reserve, Queen Elizabeth National Park, and a wildlife reserve. Edward Asalo, an official from Uganda Wildlife Authority, condemned people for not promoting government programs.
On the ground, you don't see things that are being mentioned in the accountabilities. So that has also been a challenge. And there is also an issue of monitoring. These projects are supposed to be monitored by the district leadership, it's supposed to be monitored by the sub-county leadership, and it's supposed to be monitored by us who are. However, you also realize that the rate at which people go to the field to monitor these projects is really something of concern. You find maybe people in the district go once and that is all. People at the sub-county maybe go twice and that is all. And in the end you find that you get a product that you didn't expect. You find if it is goats, you find that the goats are macheted, the goats are not worth giving to people, give to the local governments. And we have just disbursed this money to the district accounts, and it was very important for us to raise awareness among the leaders at sub-county level, because this is actually where we are going to implement the projects.
Our correspondent had an interaction with some of the local leaders near the surrounding conservation areas and was able to give their views.
Revenue sharing, the 20% which Uganda Wildlife Authority is giving to our local people, giving to the districts and then to the communities around the national parks. We've had a challenge that when we buy goats, the goats machete and that sometimes die. Or when we buy seedlings, you don't see the money, the value on the money on the ground. And I have a good suggestion as a way forward. We should do projects which benefit all the members of the community. For example, we should build a school, and we should build a clinic or a health center. And then we should construct a road, and then everybody will know this is the revenue sharing we've gotten from more, and if our crops were destroyed, at least we can travel well. Or
20% revenue sharing which we receive. However much, yes, officials from MUA said that some people don't buy tangible goods, they don't implement projects, they buy poor quality goods. For us in Kachinga Town Council in Minyangawa District, we do buy quality goods. And whenever they buy poor quality, the technical people, we say take them back and you buy the quality goods. And for your own information and for the information of the viewers, whenever we are in each and every process of implementing these projects, after getting the 20% revenue sharing, we do all the implementation in conjunction with our officials. So maybe if it has been happening in some sub-counties in other districts, we do condemn it, but for us in Kachinga Town Council, even when it was formerly, it was still Wimi sub-county, we used to account, and with all their guidelines is when you don't account, the next financial year you don't get revenue sharing.
Catherine Namgera, Business Today, Smart 24 TV, driving business.
All right, now we're heading to a commercial break. We return with more from Business Today.